female scientist was just, oh, it doesn't matter. They win all the spelling bees and have the highest. It's just, oh my gosh. Well, what about socialization? You mean learning how to be a cult member, learning how to hate your family, learning how to hate the Second Amendment? I mean, my children go to swim meets and play basketball and are with people, other children 4 or 5 days a week. There's a huge homeschool community. But again, no connection to reality. And then one of them, after they heard that, they had to create some idea of how we were bad. And so, they said to my 8-year-old son, "What is wrong with your eye? What is wrong with it? Oh, what happened to you?" Because he has a little birthmark. And he says, "My birthmark." And they were like, "Oh, really? See, ooh, spying." I mean, these people are not connected to reality in any way, shape, or form. And they're everywhere. And it is their sacrament to not have children. My wife has had women walk up and gripe at her for having 3 children in grocery stores. You walk around in Whole Foods and you walk up to the counter and the magazines are how great it is to live under austerity and have nothing. It's a religious sacrament to be raped and robbed by the bankers who taught us how to overconsume, who taught us how to be petty and destructive, who built a civilization that was unsustainable so they could then have us completely dependent when they shut it off. See, it isn't that we're not wasting or we are wasting. It's another choice or many other choices. It's complex, varied thought, sophisticated thought. You're thought to think one-dimensional, two-dimensional, certainly not three-dimensionally, certainly not four-dimensionally. All right, I digress. Here. The big news is up on Infowars.com right now. EPA on radiation alert as fires reach 50 feet from Los Alamos nuke plant. And this is where they've got all sorts of test reactors, experimental systems, giant storage units of nuclear waste. The areas had nuclear testing going on for 60 years. And when there's fires, it releases all of that carbon, all of that chaff, all of that dust into the atmosphere. But don't worry. Suddenly, we've got the plant on the river there in Nebraska confirmed to be flooding on emergency backup generator power. Don't worry, Fukushima, 5 of the 6 damaged, 3 with complete meltdown. They knew that the first week, covered it up. And don't worry, Canada with a huge leak that happened 3 months ago. Don't worry, because even though the Northern Hemisphere has double the normal radiation and rising, the EPA has just risen the level they say is safe. They've just, and there's no alerts about don't drink the milk. There's no alerts about we better not let, especially children who have fast-growing cells. On average, radiation has 10 times the negative effects on them, even more on fetuses. No discussions about it. This is many times confirmed months ago, many times Chernobyl. Each Fukushima reactor blowing sky high, including the MOX-3, the MOX reactor at Reactor 3, the 644,000 fuel rods stored on top, blown sky high, up to 1.5 miles away. The Japanese government just covered them up with bulldozers, leaking into the water, getting into the atmosphere, covering the entire United States, off the charts Chernobyl. And this is in 1986. The UN even admits over 1 million people contracted and died of cancer since then from Fukushima in their actuaries. They're not worried now because they wave a magic wand and say, eat the produce. Doesn't matter if months ago it tested all over the United States in vegetables. It tested in all the major milk, off the charts, 300, 500, depending on the state. I mean, they had Vermont milk testing hundreds of times above normal levels. And their answer is, you know what? As this radioactive orgy begins, it's not a problem. We raise the level of what we say is safe. But my gosh, we've got to raise all your taxes, and we got to micromanage everything you do, because when you exhale carbon dioxide that plants respirate from, it is a nerve gas of death. It is evil. The breath is evil. The radiation is Valhalla. Let us bathe in it. Let the cancers grow. Oh, Gaia loves it. Give us more.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
HempUSA.org has moved and expanded its operations for faster worldwide shipping. Our product line has grown from 5 to nearly 100 items in less than 5 years. Our food has grown naturally, always chemical-free, not found in stores. Great for daily intake and perfect for your emergency storage shelter. Call 908-691-2608 or visit HempUSA.org and see what our powders, seeds, and oil can do for you.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Hi, Ted Anderson. I'm placing a silver dollar in a book explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
Hundreds of nations have fallen to tyranny in the last century alone. This is our last chance to not relive history.
As they're finishing off this agenda, they'll be pulling the rug from underneath Americans at home.
I have tremendous influence on our president and Congress, and they really are calling the shots.
I think it's incumbent upon all of us as American citizens to pay attention.
Fall of the Republic identifies the enemies of our nation, the criminal offshore cartel, hell-bent on destroying sovereignty, and on its ashes constructing world government.
Tim Geithner, Bernanke, they're arsonists. They're asking for more matches. And the Congress is saying, who do we make the check out to?
Today seems like nobody does care. And right now in Washington, D.C., we have seen a fall of the Republic.
Get your copy of Fall of the Republic on DVD at Infowars.com or watch it online right now in super high quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Where can you find a super strength potassium iodide supplement? Right here at ThyroidKI.com. With global radiation levels at record highs, is your thyroid safe from radioactive iodine poisoning? Potassium iodide, the key ingredient in Thyroid KI, is proven to block radioactive iodine from damaging your thyroid. Thyroid damage is permanent and can lead to thyroid cancer. Unlike other potassium iodide products, Thyroid KI is formulated in convenient 32.5 milligram tablets and is independently tested for purity with a 100% money-back guarantee. With limited stock selling fast, act now. Prepare yourself and protect your family. Use coupon code THYROID for a 10% discount. Visit ThyroidKI.com. That's thyroid, the letter K, the letter I.com. ThyroidKI.com or call 855-599-9444. 855-599-9444. Again, that's 855-599-9444.
In fact, before I get into all the Greece riots and their government voting to hand them over to the bankers for debt the bankers created, before I get into the fires approaching Los Alamos, before I get into all the other news, let me go ahead now and go over a few things that just came out in the last week. Genetic modification gone wild. 10 signs that our world may be destined to resemble a really bad science fiction movie. This is from The American Dream. We also posted it at Infowars.com. And going over this, number one, in China, scientists have inserted human genes into DNA of dairy cow embryos. At this point, approximately 200 hybrid cows have been successfully produced. They feed the milk to the military because, after all, they're slaves. These cows can produce milk that is virtually identical to human breast milk. The scientists hope to have huge herds of these cows producing an alternative to human breast milk soon, and they hope to have the milk sold in global supermarkets within 3 years. Number one, in Canada, scientists at the University of Guelph in the province of Ontario have produced what they're calling enviropigs. These enviropigs, it goes on, have the genes from mice spliced into them. And accordingly, the scientists say that they produce less phosphorus in their excrement, so that they are being touted as environmentally friendly. Authorities in both the U.S. and Canada are evaluating whether or not to allow enviropigs into the food supply. There's already cloned food in the food supply. And, of course, they won't let you know in labeling if it is. And they won't let you know if the salmon is part insect and other fish mixed in. And again, when you splice these genes, it has all sorts of unintended consequences. But a lot of them are intended. A lot of times the reason they engineer something is just the cover. In every major study of the GMO crops they've put out, the staple food crops, they always reduce fertility in every major rodent study. Just pull it up. Scientists in Japan have created a genetically modified mouse that tweets like a bird. Yeah, 30 years ago they had mice that grew human ears on their backs. Number four, one U.S. corporation can now produce a very muscular monster salmon, which can grow up to 3 times as fast as normal salmon do. And major university studies show within 40 generations it will extinct the open sea normal salmon. That's okay. That's 40 years. Scientists can now produce cats that glow in the dark. A genetically modified cat created by scientists named Mr. Green was the very first fluorescent cat in the United States, but Mr. Green Genes was not the first glow-in-the-dark cat in the world. That honor went to the cat created by a team of scientists in South Korea. In Japan, scientists have discovered that they can grow rat organs inside of mice. These researchers hope to use the same technology to grow human organs inside pigs. That was going on 15 years ago, by the way. This is all old news. They had human clones 15-plus years ago, but they only grow them up to a certain size inside the cow uterus. And then they change its genes a little so that it won't be rejected by the cow. So they say, well, it's not really a human clone because it's a small percentage cow. Now, again, you can't tell that it's a cow. It doesn't have like a cow snout or cow ears. It has cow genetics. And so they say, well, you don't have rights. And then they harvest them and use them. China, on record, actually takes the babies if they catch you having more than one child, especially if you have 2. They take the baby, they've now discovered, and don't just drown them. It's their favorite thing to throw them in a tank and then use them for medical parts and cosmetics. Collagen that's sold in the United States and Europe to rich women. But also, I guess, metrosexual men, they now keep the babies alive and grow organs in them and things. But, hey, too many people, so it's a good thing. We're going to hear all day, about a baby killed, and did the mommy do it, and who put the baby in the woods, and, every news channel kept covering it. But meanwhile, they got kids in tanks, just in torture hell. And they've got these embryos, in tanks. I've talked to scientists that work at the facilities that are part animals, so they don't have rights. And the babies are grown up larger to grow organs in them, and they're gulping for milk and gulping for air in the tanks. It's all part of the freedom. Science 30 years ahead at least. Giant control grids, the water, the food, all poisoned. Soon there won't be any families. You won't even be able to be attracted to men or women. Just pure hell released, just poured out upon everyone. And then the mass extermination. Genetic warfare will be released. And they're not going to need the cops or military anymore. Everything's going to be robotic. As soon as they have the factories completed to work on the robots and service the robot drones and ground forces and the robot tanks they've had for at least 20 years, my God, hell's going to be released on everybody. And all of you laughing, conditioned people, I can't even get mad at you because you were put in front of the television at birth in your diapers and sent into a mesmerized state. The general public is in a trance. And in fact, if you're listening now and giggling, it's because you're in a trance level with a hypnotic suggestion to giggle and laugh when you hear the truth. That's why you get so upset. Women are laughing right now because, I'm telling them that the bisphenol A massively increases their breast cancer. They've taken your life force away from you.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run.
Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
The folks at eFoods Direct have saved you from the